Hi, Capricorn Sun and Rising. Welcome to your May 2024 Astro Update. It's Raina here. So I'm going to talk about an April transit that is really at the tail end of April that will be definitely in play in May. And this is Mars going into Aries on the 30th of the month. Aries is a fellow cardinal sign that squares off the sign of Capricorn, and it is in your fourth house of home and family. This is one of the angular houses and is considered one of the most important houses. So for sure, this is the home sector, and that is very important. And Mars here can mean several things. It can mean, in a very literal sense, you might be doing some kind of renovation to a property. It could be on the emotional level that things are getting heated in your home environment. There might be some kind of disagreement that is arising. The fourth house can be your mother. Some people think it can be your father, but I call it the family of origin. There could be a conflict within the family of origin for whatever reason. Sometimes when I keep going with these transits, I connect the dots and I think of reasons why this may be occurring. So I'm just going to leave that there, and we'll see if anything connects in a very open way. On the 2nd of May, Pluto retrograde will occur at 2 degrees of Aquarius. So this is in your second house of earned income. Since you had Pluto in your sign for over 15 years, probably around 16 years, when we have the final retrograde into your sign this September through November. Pluto retrograding in the second house can bring things on an internal level as it pertains to matters of earned income. I always say to people, when you have Pluto transiting your second house, be impeccable with how you earn money, because Pluto can bring with it this kind of karmic, retribution, maybe some instant karma in certain cases, where you cannot get away with being underhanded, because Pluto is about excavating deeply into anything that is not of the highest level, the highest caliber. And Pluto is the lord of the underworlds too, so there might be some kind of offer even made to you that is a little bit sketchy, and it's almost like a test. But if you were to actually accept something like that, because sometimes when Pluto's in the second house, you may be obsessed with becoming wealthy, and that could definitely work against you. So when Pluto goes retrograde, this is a time where you're probably going to be asking yourself, like, why, what is my end game here? Why am I doing this? Because you could amass wealth during Pluto in the second house. So I think of Capricorn as a sign that isn't necessarily concerned with becoming wealthy in and of itself, but you do like the power or the status, I would say, but I consider those two words kind of interchangeable sometimes, of what that means, the status of having money to be able to live in a community that is more status worthy, and things like that. And, what are you willing to do to get there? Second house are your values. So you may have to reflect on your values and whether you have been showing yourself to be exhibiting them to the highest degree. Pluto retrogrades for 5 months every year. And because it's an outer planet and it moves very slowly, it's not really influential to us on a personal level, except for the house transits, the house that it transits. But um, that is enough to really affect how we behave. Especially since it is such a slow transit, it hangs around in a particular house for a long time. And so this means that now that we're in May, and I can't remember exactly when it is, probably around mid-May, or the second week in May, Mercury comes out of its shadow, and then there's like a couple of months where, you can push things forward and there aren't going to be personal planets in retrograde. On the 7th, there is a new moon at 18 degrees of Taurus, and this is a fellow earth sign, so it's a friendly angle to you called a trine. And for Capricorn, this is going to be in your 5th house of love and creativity and children. So um, maybe some of you are having a child, or perhaps you are falling in love with someone. Because back in April, and I'm saying this like this is in the past, but actually, as I record this, this hasn't happened yet. So if you're listening in April, you can look out for it. On the 20th of April, there will be an alignment between Jupiter and Uranus, and that is going to be in that 5th house, and that could be love at first sight. Uranus can be very sudden, and Jupiter can be very fortunate. So a lot of astrologers are hyping this up because of what those two planets represent. And in your 5th house, this could be something very beautiful when it comes to love. The 5th house, like I said, is also creativity. So a new moon here could be starting a new creative project or having a new attitude about creativity, because maybe that's what Jupiter and Uranus meant for you. Like you just suddenly had an aha moment that you're meant to be an artist, that you start taking that seriously. I know somebody, not personally, but I know of someone who is a Capricorn and an artist, and very, and self-supporting as an artist. And to me, does it right. Seems to have a good, has good organizational skills, and, has this eye on sustainability, or, being able to support themselves with something so that they can do the other work, because you might have something that's more commercial, that is meant to kind of support your more, uh, I don't want to say authentic. Everything can be authentic, but some things are much more like off the beaten path than other things. So this new day may be dawning where you realize that, you have to show up in the world as an artist, or, you won't be one. And maybe that's something that you've resisted. Also, the 5th house is fun. And it could be your pursuits that you do that you don't have to monetize. I mean, anything that you do that just for the heck of it. And for Capricorns, this may be a very hard thing to grasp, because you might be like, what do you mean don't monetize them? What do you mean don't make everything I do into these serious things? It might be hard for some Capricorn people to take fun seriously, to really believe that it's an important part of life just to have downtime. And maybe you're going to start to realize that importance. On the 15th, Mercury goes into this area. And so you could be thinking about ways to have more fun. Wouldn't that be fun? Maybe it's going to plays. Maybe it's something with the spoken word, or even like music. But anything that you maybe you're talking to somebody that you're interested in, on the 20th, the sun goes into Gemini. This is a very practical area for you, the sixth house of work. This is a fellow Earth house because this is the domain of Virgo. So you have an affinity with this area because it's about work and your daily habits, your daily routine, your health. And so as planets go here, they're going to emphasize this. As a matter of fact, on the 23rd, we have a full moon at 2 degrees 55 minutes of Sagittarius, which is the opposite sign and house of Gemini for you, which is, in other words, the 12th house, which can be mental health or spiritual well-being. A full moon in the 12th house can help you to let go of any kind of bad habits that, and you know, people, when they think of bad habits, they think of addictions. Yeah, that's true. But it can be other things as well that keep you from living life to the fullest and to the best of your ability. So this can be very good for your physical health too, especially if it is some kind of like addiction that can affect the physical health. This can be a very psychic time to have the full moon in the 12th house because this is the dream state, the 12th house. And so you may have prophetic dreams. But on the same day, Venus goes into that 6th house. Another thing that I say when Venus goes into 6th house is that this is the Vitamix transit, because I talk about health and like how can we increase our health, and Venus can be luxury items, and so splurging on a luxury item to improve your health, or a juicer or something like that. Venus in the 6th house might be like a raise at work. Could be love in the workplace, and certainly because of that new moon in the 5th house, that goes together with that. And then on the 25th, Jupiter goes into Gemini, so Jupiter's in that 6th house. You might have more work than you know what to do with in the upcoming year with Jupiter and Gemini. Jupiter can create abundance in a particular area, and this is the house of work. Maybe you will experience good fortune with your health. Even if you have a condition, you might be able to luck out and find the perfect practitioner for you. Maybe I never hear astrologers talking about this, but I would even say traveling with work. Jupiter can be long distance travel, and freedom, you know, to be a digital nomad or however that would manifest. I'm going to do a separate video for Jupiter transiting for all the signs. So stay tuned for that in the near future. But anyway, that's what I have for you, Capricorn. I hope that this resonated. And if you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.